So all but one had parents in intact marriages, and only 2 moms worked during elementary school. Okay, I think this is another thing that's really changed. At least in the Mamsells, we thought girls who were sexually active were cheap. And we looked on them as the cheap girls, and we were the good girls. So I think that's something that's really changed nowadays, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Damn how.
Weren't we something?
We were a little backwards, actually.
But it was kind of sweet. I mean, the worst thing I could think of in high school is, do you think someone French kisses? Oh my God, that was the worst. But Peggy, you told me that at some reunion, someone, I don't know, Mamselle, went ding, ding, ding on her glass and said, I have a confession to make. I did it in high school. Do you remember that?
Hey,
No, it wasn't you. Do you remember that story?
no, I don't. No, I don't.
Maybe it wasn't you who told me. Well, what about the guys? Did you think that too? That girls who were sexually active were tainted in some way?
No, they were desirable.
Exactly.
Normal.
That is exactly my words.
Yeah.
Desirable.
Desirable and preferable.
Ah, and but would you,
Gail, can you allow us to rename ourselves so you don't have to do it? I want to put my last name on there, and you don't have that function turned on.
I see names.
No, you're not allowing me to put my last name on there. I can't rename myself.
That
That means you have to do it, or I'll have to log out and rename myself and log back in.
Okay, rename. Okay, and what's your last name? I'll type it in.
Spiegel.
Siegel.
Spiegel.
Okay,
Spiegel.
Beagle.
okay. Kent just came in when we were talking about sex.
No,
can't.
SPIE, not
Okay.
SIE.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't put on there where I was from either, Gail.
Okay. All right, we're good.
No, P like Paul.
Okay.
That's why you should turn that function on so we can all rename ourselves.
Well, if I knew how to do that, I would definitely do it.
Oh, okay.
Not a big deal.
So Henry, spell it again for me.
SP is in Paul, IEGEL.
P is in Paul, yeah.
Hi,
Hi,
Hey,
Kent. Where are you
Hi,
coming
Kent.
in from?
excuse me, why?
Where are you?
I'm in Los Angeles, in Culver City, actually, right now.
That's so interesting to me that Joel R is the only person who moved out of state, and the majority of people stayed in the Southern California area. So Kent, we're doing a little poll. Did your mom stay at home at least while you were in elementary school?
Yes.
Did your
Oh,
parents?
well, excuse me, she worked also. But she was always home when we were home.
Did your parents stay married to each other?
They did for a short amount of time. My father died when they were married, maybe 7 years or 8 years. Me and my sister were 4 years old, and she never remarried.
So none of our parents divorced was the point. Then we said the women, we thought of girls who were sexually active in high school as cheap, and the men who spoke up said they thought of them as desirable. Do you want to tune into our double standard?
Well, there should never be a double standard.
But was there then?
Yeah, those girls, they weren't cheap. They were, for one reason or another, they got pregnant. Was that funny?
Well, I think we know the reason. Okay, my next question for our little poll is, did you know anybody in high school who was anxious and depressed?
Yes.
Okay, you can go to your reactions thing and put up a raised hand or something. So Kent is the only one. Anybody else? Oh, Judy, who did you know that was depressed? I mean, you don't have to say their
No,
name.
no, I didn't. I was looking, I thought I'd clicked the lowered hand, but now I don't have it on my, I can't find it anymore. But no, I didn't know anybody who was depressed. I thought everyone was happy.
Yeah. It's really a
Well, I
generation.
think that there were some that hid it, that
Absolutely.
were anxious and depressed, but hid it from everybody else.
Mhm.
Because I knew a couple of people that seemed to be.
Did that diagnosis even exist in our day?
Say that again.
Did that diagnosis even exist in our day?
Yeah, right.
I don't think so.
I know,
Not the
not to
same way
my,
it
not
does
to my
now.
knowledge, so.
No,
I didn't.
No, they
become-
didn't think children could be anxious and depressed.
no.
I didn't become conscious of it until I got anxious and depressed, which came about in my graduate school years.
That'll do it for you. And now it's a crisis among young people. It's an epic. Did anybody have any thoughts as to, oh, hi, Frank. You're muted, so you can unmute. Anybody have any thoughts about why we weren't anxious and depressed and young people today are?
We didn't have time.
I think we were. I think there were people who were anxious and depressed. It wasn't just acceptable to go ahead and
But
acknowledge
they
it.
didn't want to show it.
So now we're all
I don't
depressed.
think the demographics have changed that much. It's just now more socially acceptable to express it.
I also think
Yeah.
things are more complicated today. Things,
That's right.
everything was simpler in our day, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looking back.
take me back to the era of the Cold War.
My
Yeah,
daughter,
now they worry about the planet being destroyed with climate change, the country's divided red and blue.
You better stop. You better stop. You better stop listing those things.
Why?
Well, because they're too numerous.
and we'll get more depressed.
That's true, Ken.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying that war babies were lucky.
Well, yeah. I mean, we grew up in a much easier time.
Yeah.
Right now there's probably more opportunities for the few that are willing to kill themselves by studying and by excelling and stuff. But I mean, life was easier and it was more fun in the past.
Why
I
do you-
think so too, because we got to go outside and play, and
Yeah.
our parents were not so worried about us being outside and playing. And I mean, I walked to school or took the bus.
We all did.
Yeah, we all did.
Parents weren't as involved as they are today.
Yeah.
And,
When we got home, we had a
we had-
snack and then we left. We hiked around, rode our bikes, came home at dinner. The
Yeah.
moms were home, so you could drop in at other people's houses. It was nobody worried.
Before bikes, we walked and there were underpasses. They've all been closed because they're not safe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, under Beverly, Santa Monica Boulevard from Emerson. I remember it
Yeah,
by the temple.
yeah, I went to Emerson too.
Okay, how about this
Yeah, I went
question?
to Emerson.
I went to Emerson.
In high school, you regularly went to church or synagogue. You had some kind of religious instruction. You put up
I did.
put up a little something. Why don't you put up a heart? We went to the Church of Religious Science. See, I wonder if that's changed too, because like
Oh, it's changed tremendously.
a third of us. Oh, yeah, we're,
Yeah.
Joel R., what do you know about that in terms of church? Well, I know that it's dropped. Religious attendance has dropped.
I had very little involvement with religion until after college. But it was not long after college that I began to want to explore my roots, and that led me deeper and deeper into studying Jewish tradition.
Mhm.
Well,
And,
I was always an active Mormon, and I went on a mission for our church in the southern states, and I graduated from Brigham Young University, and I'm still active. I went through a period where I was not, where I played, but I am back very strong.
Hmm.
I was very active in the Jewish youth movement in Nifty in high school.
Okay.
Sherry and I weren't we, Sherry? We were active, Brentwood Presbyterian Church.
Right.
Remember
Okay.
those prayer meetings? We used to get up at 5:30 or 6 and go over to your house, and
Yes,
remember that?
yes. Yeah, breakfast meetings at 6 o'clock.
That was early.
Well, there was only one other Mormon in our class, and that was Sue Ellen Glad.
Yeah.
Are
And
you in
fact,
communi-
she lives in Utah now.
Yeah, I
are
knew
you in communication with Sue Ellen Glad?
Yes, I am, very much.
Please tell her Kent Goodman says hello.
same here.
I will. I'm surprised that she didn't join us.
She was going to. Next question, your political views became more liberal in college? If it's a yes, you can do something.
Well, mine were always liberal.
Well, I voted for Kennedy, John Kennedy.
My
I was,
father thought George Bush was too liberal, so I had a far right to go from to when I was at Berkeley. So that was maybe half of us said yes.
Yeah. I don't know if I became more liberal.
What, Frank?
I don't know if I became more liberal or was just
You always
stayed
were.
as liberal. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I
about
was
you,
always
Gail? Big
conservative
Gail, yeah.
and stayed that way.
Gail, how about you then? Did your political stance change?
Oh, yeah. I went to Berkeley in the 60s, please.
Oh.
They're going to change.
The people from Berkeley came down to UCLA and influenced me greatly.
Mm. Mm.
I was at Berkeley also.
Mm. Who? Did Joel say that?
Yeah, me.
Oh, well, then we were there at the same time.
Yes, we were.
I was a Tri-Delt for a couple of years till I got
Uh-huh.
bored.
My daughter was a Tri-Delt.
You stayed in the same career field most of your life. Is that, if it's true, give us a hands up on the reactions thing.
Yeah, I did.
I've always taught.
I was in the camera business for 100 years.
The piano business?
Cameras,
Cameras.
photography.
Did
Except
you-
for my job, which I got from Joel Rosenberg. And my daughter just gave me something where I have to put stories about early history, and so I just finished writing that Joel Rosenberg helped me get my first job. Papers on the corner of Lynbrook and Westwood. I think it was Lynbrook.
Oh my gosh,
Oh.
that's right. That was my first job too.
Yeah, well, you turned to me, or when I worked with you, I don't remember. But
Just a couple more questions. Overall, you haven't had any major health issues. So no major health issues is some kind of icon.
what do you call major?
I have. I've had some major
Well, then,
health
Oh.
issues.
okay.
I'm in a mobility scooter now.
Hmm.
I had an accident when I was being rebellious on the back of a motorcycle, and
Oh,
he
boy.
ran a red light on Westwood
Oh,
and LaGrange, and he hit the rear end of a car. He ran a red light, and I have had physical different. I walked for many years, but about 20 years ago, I started really having bad health issues, and now I've had 2 knee replacements, 3 shoulder replacements, and 1 hip replacement.
wow, you're
So
bionic.
I'm going to be the trionic woman.
So
Periodic.
you're the only one who's had major health.
I've had something. I have what's called seronegative spondylopathy. And what that means is I have an autoimmune disease that attacks my spine. And I'm on a medication that prevents that. And I'm functional. I have severe arthritis. I'm in pain most of the time, but I can control it. But I am very susceptible to COVID. Even though I've been immunized, I've got to be very careful.
Mm,
And I am.
mm.
And I had
Yeah.
a career ending medical issue. So
Right, okay, so yeah, that's.
Can I say something to Jeffrey right now?
Sure.
Jeffrey, it would be to your advantage because of your health to tune in on Saturday mornings at 7 o'clock on AM 710 to a program called The Weekend Warriors. It's delightful. It's given by a top surgeon for 33 years. He's a past head of orthopedic surgery at Sinai, and you can call in and tell
Kapler,
him.
is it Kapler? His last
Yeah.
name?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
his name is Robert Kapler.
Yeah.
You can call in and ask him any question about any problem, and he can give you some good advice.
Well, thank you.
Someone just joined us and it just says owner's iPad. So I'm sorry, I don't know your name, owner's iPad.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, I don't have any video though.
Yes, you do.
We can
We
see
see
you.
you. We see you.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well, I don't see anybody. Well, Spence Hollinger.
Hi, Spence.
Hi, Hans.
Where do you live?
I live outside of Eugene in Oregon.
You're our second person who doesn't live in California.
Yeah, so you see the video though, right?
We see you.
We see
We
you.
can see you.
Okay.
Now we can even recognize you.
I've got to run, but thank you very much for putting this on. I've got a grandfather responsibility in about 5 minutes. So I did send you an email concerning the request that you made about reflecting upon what you would desire for someone when they're 21 years old.
Who's speaking?
Nice to see you, Bill.
Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah, good to see you,
Good
Bill.
to see you, Bill.
Great
All
to
right.
see you, Bill.
Grandpa Bill, you didn't send me my weekly allowance.
Yeah, that's not the first time I've heard that.
Not the first time it's not the first time you've missed it either.
Bill, just wait for the last question is if you were married, you stayed married, not divorced. So that's if you got divorced, do make some kind of little reaction there. So one,
Wait. Okay.
Frank,
Am I the only one?
Oh,
No, I've been divorced, but I can't find.
okay, so two, We're divorced. So
I never
divorced,
married because
Oh, I
I could
divorced.
never find anybody to put up with me.
but you didn't divorce. Okay. All right.
No, I didn't divorce.
Thanks, Bill. I'll
Okay.
we'll share your
Good seeing you, Bill.
wisdom.
Right.
Yeah.
Bye, Bill. Take
Bye,
care.
Bill.
Bye-bye.
Best to you,
Oh,
Coach.
Any other questions that you have before we share what we wish we known at 21 that you want to ask the group? Okay, so anybody want to jump in with what you wish you'd known at 21?
I wish I had known in high school more people from my class, because we had exceptional people. Unfortunately, we were very cliquish, and we get and you know, we never made an effort to get to know more and more people. That's why I'm so grateful to Joan Klein and everyone who's been to all of our reunions, and to you, Gail, also.
Remember, you can't.
What?
What club were you in high school, Ken?
Well, for a while I was in the #1 boys club, but I dropped out.
What was it?
It was the Viscounts.
Viscounts.
Oh, the Viscounts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the Viscounts, we didn't like anyone who wasn't a Viscount.
The women here were all mamsells, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wasn't there another girls' club?
Parisians.
Yes.
We consider them a little cheaper faster than we were.
Well, you know, and they might be faster in decline, but some of them aren't. Some of them are doing great.
Okay.
I went to Beverly, and so we didn't have clubs. I transferred after the 8th grade.
Well, that was smart of you.
Yeah, I miss you guys, especially the Warner group.
But Kent, why don't you finish? What do you wish you'd known at 21 that you've learned? In other words,
21.
what have you learned in your lifetime?
What have I learned?
Yeah.
I didn't learn this at 21. I learned it over the years. I spent many years in Mexico, and I went there to become a bullfighter, and I became a bullfighter. But I had always, you know, wanted to think of myself as being self-sufficient, and I learned that everyone needs some help, and that's probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned in my life.
Is to ask for help or give help or both?
Well, I've always been a giver and not a receiver. I didn't like receiving because, you know, because I wanted to be real strong, right? And but I learned that you know, we all need input and help from certain people, and the smart thing is to find out, you know, who you get along with, who has the skills, the knowledge, and the position where they can be of help, because most people like helping people that they like.
Yeah.
Boy, I understand that, Kent, the giving and being afraid to receive. It made me feel like I wasn't strong enough. And I had to be strong because I was single and had to take care of myself.
Right, but you know, we all need a support group. You know,
We do, absolutely.
And the
And I
successful
am
people.
very grateful for the support I have now.
Oh yeah. Congratulations.
Kent, do you think men's roles have changed recently so that men are more able to ask for help and be more vulnerable?
Well,
the other men are saying yes.
Yeah.
I think men have always been men, and they've always been afraid to evolve. I remember my wife and I, we used to go to these fireside chats of Baha'is, you know, and they had speakers, and, you know, we went because it was interesting. The people were nice. Most of them were Persian, and the food was great also. Well, anyway, you know, one speaker was, you know, talking about the Baha'is believe that people are equal, you know, different races, different stuff. And then they said, and you know, they put the same thought down for men and women. The men and women are equal. I couldn't help myself, but I blurted out, "That's the best compliment I've ever heard about men, that we were equal to women."
Okay. Let's go.
But
Let's.
we still aren't.
You still aren't?
No, we're not. Women are far superior to men.
How so?
Well, they're kinder. They focus more on important things like family and stuff like that. And men think more of their ego.
Some men are nodding in agreement with that. Let's see.
Well, I'm not saying that all men are dumbbells.
That's big of you. Okay, thanks, Ken. Spence, let's go to you. What do you wish you'd known at 21? What have you learned?
Oh, at the 20, what did I learn at 21?
What do you
Or
wish?
did I wish,
What
did
do
I
you,
wish I knew?
Yeah.
Well, of course, there's no substitute for experience, and I hadn't had the experience that, you know, that teaches you things that you need to know. So I really, it's a very difficult question to answer.
Well, what have you learned that you wished you knew then? What have been the big lessons in your life?
I really don't know. Like I say, traveling. I did a lot of traveling. I drove around the country when I was in my late 20s. That was a good experience. So that, you know, just to see the country.
So what have been your life lessons? What have you what have been the challenges that you've learned from and had insights from? Aha.
I guess I don't think in those terms. I mean, I'm kind of drawing a blank on that. You know, I've had experiences in working that have taken me places where I, you know, wouldn't have normally gone.
You know where to park. What kind of work have you done?
Well, most of my profession has been as a machinist, but I did branch out a couple of times into actually a recording engineer in Hollywood for a while, a short time. And then I built products for the motion picture industry for a while. That was sort of interesting. And, you know, so those are the branches that, you know, I took from the normal, you know, direction.
And did you get married and live happily ever after and have kids?
No, I never married.
And
I've spawned no kids, and I've not increased the pollution.
Okay. Anything else you want to add if you were advising somebody 21?
If I were advising somebody,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sure they wouldn't listen.
Well, that's not the point.
You know, it's hard to, it's hard to tell young people. Okay, an interesting experience I had. I was involved with the local high school as a mentor for a robotics team. and we competed with other high schools throughout the area. And I kind of got into being able to communicate with those kids just because we had a common task, you know. But a lot of kids are really hard to talk to.
Okay, let's see. I'm just going how I see people. Kathy, why don't we go to you? Tell us what you wish you'd known at 21.
You know, I think for me, I spent pretty much my junior high school years and high school years wanting very badly to belong. I was an immigrant. I arrived in this country at a time when I knew no one, and I just wanted to be part of a group and belong to it. And what I realized throughout my life is how utterly enriched my life has been by not being in one tight clique and meeting interesting people in all different life. And I've had many iterations career-wise, and just have gathered, you know, my life is sort of like a wonderful quilt now compared to when I was in high school. And I agree with, who was it who said that he wished that he had met more of our classmates while we were in high school. I just wanted to be with the mamsells. You know, I just wanted to be feeling safe and accepted in a group. And my life has not continued that way, and I'm much enriched by that. So I would say that. I also want to say, because Gail, you were talking about what we want our grandchildren to know. And I would say to them, don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid to change directions. If the direction you're going in is absolutely taking you in the wrong direction, and be flexible and feel free to explore all different things. Don't get stuck. Don't be afraid of change. So I wrote down a few things, and now where is it?
What, Kathy, while you're looking, you're an immigrant from where?
I'm sorry?
You were an immigrant from where?
I came from France when I was in the A5.
I never knew that.
Yeah. And when did I meet you, Gail?
I went to Emerson and Uni.
Okay, so because I don't know whether you know this, and excuse me, everybody, but our son is named after your brother.
Oh, Greg.
Your Greg was the sweetest, most wonderful little boy that I had ever met. And I came to stay at your house a few times, and I was just enchanted with him. And I always said, if I have a son, his name will be Greg. And it is.
Peggy has a son named Greg too. Yeah.
Yes, I think Peggy's son was named after mine.
Yeah.
That is so sweet. Thank you. He passed on 3 years ago.
No,
He had a brain tumor. So
I'm
I
so
appreciate
sorry.
you saying that.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. Anyway, that's it. And well, I'll say one more thing, and that is always be curious. Never deny the opportunity to have a new experience, to go someplace new, to learn a new skill, to experience a new culture, whatever it is. You know, we have only one go round, I believe, at least the one that we would know about. And just don't not take all those different paths.
What kind
Kathy.
of work have you done over the years?
Good
Well,
question.
Yeah, I started out, as most of us ladies did, getting a teaching credential because we had to have something to fall back on. I was not suited to teaching children. And so then as soon as I could, I went back to school and learned about interior design. And the large part of my career was interior design and space planning. I did homes for a number of years and then went on to commercial work. And then in the last 25 plus years, I've helped my husband, who started a jazz festival 28 years ago. And we run a festival and I'm very involved in that. So.
Cool. Great. Let's see. So, Frank, why don't we go to you?
Okay. Since you brought up the question, it's been bothering me a little bit as to what I could talk about. And I think if I could go back to my 21st year in low or even my 20s, I would have liked to have been a little more independent and a little more less scared to just go out and do things that I always wanted to do. And traveling, visiting Berkeley more often, commuting from home to UCLA, get out there a little bit. So I kind of had my own group of friends that I met and kind of stayed within that era. So I would have liked to be able to, I guess, get rid of the marionette strings that my father put on me.
Marionette strings, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that you did do that.
Well, unfortunately and fortunately, he died when I was 24, so that freed me.
And then did you travel and do adventurous things?
How stupidly I got married, had a kid, and lived an unhappy life for a while, and then divorced, got a new wife, and I'm more happily married this time.
Oh, good. What did you learn from the first marriage that made the second one work?
To not be so stubborn. Yeah, I married 2 Tauruses, so you know, with that, they are the most stubborn of all, and so you know, give in to the unimportant problems.
And then do you have kids?
I have 1 daughter. I have 2 stepdaughters. We have 2 granddaughters and 2 male dogs to make up for all the women.
Okay.
But I had a career for 40 years in the camera business and branched out into real estate over the years. And, wish I'd done that much earlier.
Okay, Sherry, let's go to you.
Okay.
Who?
What do you wish you'd known at 21?
I think I wish I'd known that I was going to end up working with children like I always wanted to. It didn't seem like it was ever going to happen because it took so long, but I ended up becoming a pediatric nurse and then became the head nurse of the pediatric department in Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital, where I could make all the rules and make sure that parents were encouraged to stay with their children and not go home
Good.
unless they had to.
And what else did you have you learned? What have you been your big
Oh,
lessons?
wow. I got the video. Go ahead.
Could whoever is having a lot of noise in the background possibly mute for the moment?
I don't know who that is, but thanks. Okay. Sherry, anything else that you wish you'd known? What have you learned? Your big lessons, your aha experiences?
I can't think of any often. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Let's see. Henry, what about you? Let's go to you.
There's so much that I didn't know when I was younger. I've evolved. Oops. I've evolved quite a bit in my own life. One of the latest things is I spent 12 years with the Tibetan monks meditating, and really learned quite a bit about them. I seem to still be teachable, and I learn a lot of things wherever I go. The master said I had spent so much time with him that he could ordain me and make me a monk, that I qualified, but I had to remind him that I was bringing my girlfriend to all the meditation sessions and ceremonies and chanting and all that. He said, "Oh, I guess you're right. We can't do that." But anyway, I've learned quite a bit from him, and from the other monks. Calmed me down a lot.
And how do you deal with the monkey mind? How do you get peaceful sitting and contemplating?
What's the monkey mind? It doesn't exist anymore.
So when you're meditating, is it without mental chatter? It goes away?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow, I'm impressed.
That's an interesting topic. Monkey mind, you said?
Yeah,
Or are you talking about head chatter
yeah.
or the constant radio?
Goes on. Yep.
Yeah, I think that prevents a lot of experience. I've been thinking about, I don't feel the same way I did when I was younger because I've got too much head chatter going on, and it replaces the feelings. And so I've kind of hoped that I find out before I die that, what happened, why don't I, taste the rain or smell the wind. And there's a lot of rain right now, so up in here in Oregon.
Not in LA.
Send it down to LA. We need it.
We need
Yeah,
it.
okay.
They're not going to let us water our lawns anymore.
I'll see if I can UPS some down to you guys.
If you want to know what the rain tastes like, stick your tongue out when it's raining.
Yeah, but I got too much other things going on. I mean, there's something that just, prevents that from happening. Anyway.
Okay. Peggy, what do you wish you knew at 21?
I think the way my life turned out is just the way I probably figured it would, which was kind of everything fell into place. Get rid of that. I went to college and then I always wanted to be a teacher and I taught elementary school. Met my husband in college. We got married, had kids. I mean, my life just has been great. I haven't had any real issues. So as far as what would I share with somebody that was 21 years old, just, be careful when you pick your mate because, for me, it's for life and it's made everything wonderful, but who's to always know that it's going to happen that way? I don't know. I'm not a big talker, so I don't know what else to say.
What did
Are
you
you
learn?
Peggy Lusk?
Pardon?
Are you Peggy Lusk?
Yes, I can't.
I always liked you,
Oh, I liked you too.
and I still do.
Oh, well, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. That's really funny. Joni Klein and I went to Disneyland one time, and this is funny. I had a crush on Kent, and she had a crush on Richard Atlas. So we bought hats, and we had the guys' names put on our hats. So I don't see Kent. He might be gone now, but
Oh my God, he has to hear that.
I hear it, but for some reason, you guys can't see me anymore. And I don't know how to change that. But anyway, Peggy, you should have told me in high school.
I know I would
Dang
never.
you.
I know.
Dang you.
I was afraid of boys. It was easier to talk about boys when I was with my girlfriends, right?
Right.
Kathy and Jay and
Kent, Kent, I had a crush on you too.
Who did?
Kathy,
Who did?
Kathy.
Kathy
Kathy
Stone?
Hamburger. Yeah, Kathy Stone.
Kathy Stone, you were another person that I wanted to say, I wish I knew you more. I mean, you're very enlightened. You're a very enlightened person. You're smart. You've learned a hell of a lot, and you're enlightened. So congratulations to you.
Well, thank you, Kent.
You're
So,
welcome.
Peg, what have you learned from raising 3 boys and oodles of grandchildren?
Well,
No, Peggy.
Oh, Peggy.
what have I learned? A lot of rewards from it. It's kind of the way my life has gone. Just the kids all live near me, so I spend a lot of time with them. My grandchildren, 3 of the older ones are all in college, and they could be my best friend. I don't know, just what have I learned? Just love and telling everybody how much I do love them and how important they are to me. And I don't know, I feel like I get back what I give, and I give a lot. So I get it back, and that's important to me.
Great, that was profound. Let's see.
Excuse me, I'm going to interrupt because I have to say goodbye right now.
Okay.
And what?
Goodbye.
Oh, thank you. Oh, now I can see you. Okay, and I wish everyone the best. I wish I could spend time with everyone. And Gail, I always liked you an awful lot also, and I still do.
Thank you.
And I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
Hi,
everyone.
Good to see you,
Everyone, the
Ken.
best to you. Bye-bye.
Like,
Kent.
All our little
Bye.
secret crushes are coming out now.
I think I had a crush on you too, Gail.
Oh my God, I was so oblivious. I had no.
Gail, your boyfriend just left.
Oh, I know. I didn't get a chance to tell him.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Joel,
Poor
why don't we go to you, Joel Rosenberg?
Okay, actually, I had my hand up before because I wanted to talk before my wife got home because she went out shopping and she doesn't like me talking about her. But in any case, I just, it's mostly, first, let me go back to gallery. I think the thing I most learned since age 21 was an approach to relationships. I mean, it's interesting to hear people talking about relationships. And at the time, I was married to my first wife, Louise, and it was, if I had, known more, even at age 21, I would know that by age 23 we'd be divorced. And I don't know, it was a very turbulent and difficult relationship, and it left me kind of embittered toward women. And I then kind of plunged myself into seeking sexual experience, and I'd had a little before getting married, but I don't know, somehow I threw myself wholly into what amounted to eventually sexual conquest. I mean, and in the course of which I met just incredible, got to be close with incredible women, some of whom I'm still friends with. But I still pursued a kind of exploitive path that I have long since come to regret. And it wasn't until the late 90s that I met Carol, the person I'm presently married to. We formed a relationship by email, basically, although we had met in person not long before that. And she had written to me because she was working at UCLA and wanted some help. She was taking an extension course on the Bible and wanted my help on stuff related to the Bible. And she wrote this exquisite paper about Psalm 139 that I wrote back just effusively praising, and eventually we got into just corresponding about our lives. And in any case, we formed a close bond even then. It's not been ideal. We have fights, we bicker, there are all kinds of ways in which we have our frictions. But I began to really appreciate the double X chromosome, the thing that makes women who they are. I find that Carol is, I call her a tzaddik, which is a term for one of the righteous of the world. And, she got me out of myself. She got me into the neighborhood. I mean, I hardly knew my neighbors prior to our relationship. And she made friends with all the people on our block, and I got involved in social causes related to our town. And I don't know, there was just all kinds of ways in which I began to realize that there's a larger self, and that, I'm part of that in some way. But that is the greatest revelation in my life since age 21, I think.
Why did you marry your first wife?
She was beautiful. She was, I don't know, we formed actually a very nice initial rapport. We had both lost our fathers at a tender age. I was 5 years old. She was 4 years old. So we bonded over that. And we, I don't know, there were bits of humor that we kind of savored together. But it was a very difficult relationship. And she, because she was beautiful, was constantly sought after by men. And she was unfaithful to me kind of in a serial way. And I should have taken that to heart back then already. But I didn't. And in any case, I learned a tremendous amount. And in hindsight of decades, I still appreciate what I had with her. But anyway, it's a sad part of my history of relationships, basically. But also, she didn't want to be. I made a decision while we were married that I wanted to study to be a rabbi, which was kind of a spur of the. Well, it wasn't spur of the moment, but it was something I'd been thinking about for a while. And I don't know. Then I applied to rabbinical school in Los Angeles. We were living in Oakland at the time because of my connection to Berkeley. And anyhow, we were going to move to Los Angeles, where I was going to be studying there. And she, I think there were other reasons why she wanted to get out of the marriage. And that was kind of an excuse, but it was sort of the catalyst that broke us up in a specific way, in a permanent way.
And you didn't have children together?
No, we didn't. And that's maybe one of my other great regrets, is that I've never had children. And you know, that the nearest I get to that is teaching. And maybe that's why I'm still, you know, teaching at my present age. But I think of them as my children. And I love, you know, playing a part in the formation of their minds and their orientation to the world and getting into their inner life. And, you know, there are all kinds of things that I learn constantly from them. That's been a really important part of my life.
Beautiful. And I don't think of the first marriage as a mistake. I just think of it as a learning. It's something you needed to learn from. So it's a great gift.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Ginny.
Oh dear. Hi, everybody. This has been great. It's been good to see people I haven't seen in a long time. When I first heard about this, I told Gail, I said, I don't have anything newsworthy to say or any great experience in my life. Like Peggy, I enjoyed high school so much and I enjoyed all my friends, but like Kent said, I didn't look outside my group either. I wish I had done that. And that's a good thing to advise my grandchildren now, what I can do, tell them to help them. But like Peggy, my life, well, I think I said that already. My life has kind of turned out like I planned it to, because I wanted to get married. And I knew a lot of people and had a lot of friends, but I never had the real great love until I met my husband, Gary. And that was a happy meeting for me. It made everything else I learned in college kind of insignificant because I fell in love, and that was the most important thing. And I've never regretted the way my life has turned out. It's we have 4 children. We've had a long marriage now, and it's been a very happy marriage, and I've had a very happy life. And that about sums it up. We haven't done anything extraordinary. We lived a simple life. I worked for 26 years at the university here in Chico, like Gail did, only she was a teacher and I worked in the admissions office and had a job that I just love, counseling students who are interested in coming to Chico and looking at their academic records and setting them on a path for graduation, and then ultimately looking at everything and made sure that they completed all their requirements and they met with their major advisors too. So that was just a wonderful job. And in addition to that, I was able to go to junior colleges in the state of California, mostly from like Ventura northward, and visit them and meet with students in their transfer center and be able to talk to them. So I enjoyed my life because basically what's important in my life and has been important is my relationships with other people. And that included the students I worked with and the people I worked with. And mostly my family, who I love, and all of our friends. And so that's all I have. Gary, my husband Gary, once told me that when he was in high school, he had a college football coach, and the coach set the team down, and he said, and this made an impact on me because I thought it was kind of unusual for men to talk to other men in this way. Usually it's, you know, the gung-ho kind of stuff. And he told those boys in high school that if you choose to get married, that's the most important decision you make in your life, because you will, no matter what you do, if you're in a poor marriage or a bad marriage, you won't be happy in your other areas of life. And so I'm not saying that everybody has to be married, but if you are married, it's wonderful to have a happy marriage. And I do, and I'm lucky for that.
What would you say allowed you to maintain that good relationship with Gary for so long? I mean, you know, the romantic love, sex attraction fades. What
Absolutely.
that glue?
Well, I think first of all, we started out, we were very similar. We both had the same values in the way that we thought about life itself. And so we had the same goals as well. And that is to raise our children and raise them in a way that they will be good citizens, or we feel that they're good citizens too. All good children, very lucky, knock on wood, and grandchildren as well. I think it takes an effort too. You have to be kind to one another, and you have to be patient with another, because even though our values are the same, you don't think alike in every situation. And so that leads to fights that you have to forgive and forget and get over. And if both of you are willing to do that, so it always takes two people to have a happy marriage. Let me see. So that's it. Kindness to one another, valuing your friends. Friends are very important, and they'll get you through life too, because there's ups and downs and health and situations. My husband had a stroke 3 years ago, and I thought at the time that life would not be the same, but it has turned out to be the same and even a little better, because you learn patience, you learn to be even kinder and take better care of one another. So I look at Sherry, an old friend from Brentwood School, and everyone here. It's just been a pleasure to see everybody. That's my common, uncomplicated life.
Beautiful.
Jeffrey, you're on.
And I've enjoyed walking with you, Gail. Sometimes it's been more like hiking. We've had wonderful times together. So that's fun. I love that.
Keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Gail,
Yes.
this is Judy. I'm going to have to leave in a minute. I have tickets to go see Sound of Music on stage, which
Oh, well,
is
then tell us
great
what,
love of mine is theater.
okay,
Anyway,
Judy, tell us what you wish you'd known at 21.
I wish that I had understood at 21, and values were different at the time, and you just assumed that you were going to get married. And I wish I had understood at that time that there was a possibility I wouldn't get married. And so I planned the first part of my life feeling like I was going to get married. And so I didn't place as much importance on my career and on saving money and things like that. And at 35, I finally decided that I probably would never have kids. And at 45, I decided I'd never get married. And I started taking my life as a single career person more seriously. But I wish I had known and understood, so that I'd have saved my money and bought a house earlier and things like that, and saved money better. But I didn't. And but I have been cleaning out my garage, which I always considered was the first 50 years of my life. And it brings so many memories. And I realized that I have had a very fun, involved life. I have traveled. I've been to Europe and Africa, and I've been in all but 5 states. And I but a lot of it came after that 45 mark when I realized, okay, you're going to do this life alone. So it's been interesting. And if I was back at 21, I would wish that someone would have guided me a little more. But my family expected me to get married because that's what you did. I always felt like I went to college to get my MRS degree. But anyway, it doesn't mean I haven't had a great life. I have a terrific life now. I have so many friends. I have retiree lunches that of people that I've known for 50 years. I have always been a dog lover. And I have my Mandy.
Oh.
She's taken a nap. Anyway, she's my sixth dog over the years. And anyway, I have a great life. So it's not as strong in some areas as with family. I have in the last 3 years, I've lost both of my brothers. So that is the final of us 5 kids. And I am alone now as far as siblings go. And with nieces and nephews, it's not the same as if it was your own kids. So I feel some loneliness, and but I have a lot of friends at church, and I have a lot of friends elsewhere. So and I still do a lot of volunteer work. I helped start a youth bookstore at our city library, and I was on the board of directors of Musical Theater West, which is a regional professional theater organization in Long Beach. I was on their board of directors for 10 years, and I still do volunteer work there when the performances are on. So I've had a good life.
Good. And there's more ahead.
And there's more. Hey, I'm not ready to quit.
Okay. All right. Jeffrey, we're to you.
Okay. Let me tell you that I need to go now because I have a couple of friends coming to go to the theater. But gosh, it's been great.
Thanks,
I would
Judy.
love if we could do this once in a while.
I agree.
So I hope we don't wait so long again.
Okay. We'll do it.
Okay.
Thanks, Judy. Have
Gail,
fun.
for putting this on. You are awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jeff.
Gail, thank you for doing this. When I got the invitation, I said, well, I'll tune in, see where this goes. And I've been riveted. I love hearing everybody's stories. It's meaningful, and it has been great connecting with people who I thought I wouldn't for a long time. My life lesson is gratitude. Gratitude for the small things in life. And in my career, I immersed myself totally into the career. I became a physician. And I was driven. I wanted to be the best doctor that I could be. And that entailed a ton of work and effort on my part. And I finished my residency in emergency medicine. I was in the second class in the nation to graduate, became board certified, worked in a downtown ghetto hospital, at California Hospital for years, ran the emergency department for a while, joined a medical group called Healthcare Partners, where I met lifelong friends and practiced for 38 years in downtown LA. But that process took a toll because I had to work so hard and at keeping up, which was critical, and the practice of medicine. It was not easy. It was fun. I loved it. And I miss it now that I'm retired. So as a result, emotionally, I was retarded. I mean, I didn't have social skills, and it took a while for me to develop. I had 2 marriages that failed, and then I met Lori when I was 40, and we've been married this August. It'll be 40 years, and she is the love of my life. We are commonly uncommon in that we have different views about some things, but we share a lot of interests. We've done a ton together, and that has been a great comfort and a great joy. Since I retired, I should say we have one daughter who is the light of our lives. Her name is Britton. She's 30, and she has become a stylist, which I knew absolutely nothing about and have since learned. And it's fun to follow her career path, and she is a good person, which gives me a great deal of joy. Since I retired, I grew my hair long, and for 2 years, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I loved golf, and I said, well, I'll just play golf 7 days a week. Well, my body said no, and so I decided that's not going to happen, and I got into music, and it's because of Lori. She was into it. She's been into music her whole life. And I picked up the guitar and I started playing it. And even though I have deformed hands, I have had workarounds and I'm able to do it. I play all the time. I love it. I sing. I dabbled in the harmonica. I've played drums. I'm really into it. And it is a great sense of joy. But circling back, now that I'm retired, I have time to appreciate the little things in life, like your breath, your heartbeat, your thoughts. I know Henry was talking about having a quiet mind. I can quiet my mind, but I don't regret my thoughts. I embrace them and see where they take me. So gratitude is a lesson that I wish I had at 21 to appreciate what's going on in your life. I have it now. I enjoy it. I have a wonderful life. I have lots of friends, and I have traveled. I've traveled extensively, but with COVID and my compromised immune status, I fear that those days are limited. But I cherish the times that I have traveled. And that's about it.
What did you learn from the first 2 marriages? Because I always think of them as
not to marry those people again.
Why did you marry them?
They were beautiful. Sex, to be very candid. And it was, the thrill of, somebody mentioned conquest. It was the thrill of a new relationship. Both lasted relatively short times, about 2 years. and they were definitely the wrong people. So it taught me, don't do that again. And so, yeah, things have, Lori is a wonderful person. It hasn't been a totally smooth ride. We fight. We have our differences, and but we love each other, and it's taught me to appreciate that.
Beautiful. These are touching. Let's see if we have everybody, but I think it's my turn. I want to show
Yes,
you
it
my.
is.
Yeah,
We wanna hear from you.
I want to show you my puppy. Bella. Come here.
Minnie, come here. Minnie.
Bradley?
Can you see Bella?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how
A
Oh,
lap dog.
cute.
an Aussie, right?
She's a mini Australian Shepherd, and she's a handful, as Ginny knows. She's nonstop.
Oh, she's so cute.
Yeah, that's what helps. It's like having a toddler. It's like having a 2-year-old. It really helps that they're cute. And she's so cute when she sleeps. But
Our
I will-
beloved pooch is Omar. He's out on the sun deck. I would love to share him.
Oh, go
as
get
well.
Omar.
Here's my Minnie.
Joel, go get him.
Oh, hold on. I'll be back.
Oh, Peggy, how cute.
Cute.
Oh, Frank, let's see your puppy.
That's Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper.
My wife preferred to sleep with Bradley Cooper than Bruno.
Bradley Cooper.
Oh, how cute.
Oh, cute.
He's pretty. What color do you call that? What color is he?
Brown.
Look at Don.
Dark tan.
Cute.
Kind of cafe au lait.
Yeah.
Oh, Peggy, this is Peggy,
This
let's
is
see your
Minnie.
dog.
Minnie.
Oh,
Oh,
To rescue. I lucked out.
how old is how old? Wait. Peggy, how old is your puppy?
You're muted.
Oh, wait, Peggy, you got muted. Peggy, you got muted. We didn't hear a thing you said.
Oh, there, sorry.
How old is your puppy or dog?
This one is 5. This is a rescue I got.
Oh,
And then I have a new puppy that's 2 months old that's like having a child. So I
yeah.
basically, yeah, that's all I do is take care of dogs right now.
Well, show us your 2-month-old.
But really, you want me to go get? All right, I will.
Where are you, Bradley? There you are. Bradley
I'm
had his
trying to
own-
make Omar visible.
Okay.
Any of you ever see the show Lucky Dog on television with Brandon McMillan?
No.
Bradley inspired the show, and he got 3 Emmys for the show. But Brandon, who's a dog trainer, animal trainer, he found Bradley at the pound, picked him up and
God.
dance and stuff.
Oh my God, look at Peggy's puppy.
Oh.
Oh,
That's
So precious.
cute.
I think that gets the cute puppy prize.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fun.
What's the puppy's name?
This one is Mick, and the other one is Minnie. Yeah. So Mickey and Minnie.
And what kind is Mick?
They're both Yorkshire Terriers, but his ears flopped down, and when I got him, they had him all pinned up, and I think that's awful. So we took the tape off, and maybe they end up like this, but I don't really care. I was
Cute.
about
So
to pin
cute.
up his ears all the time.
Oh, that's great.
So Gail, can we hear more from you?
Yeah, but let's see Joel's dog.
This is Omar. He's 11 and a half.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
He's very beautiful.
yeah.
He looks very noble.
He is noble. He's
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh, he's beautiful.
He's a sweet soul as well.
That looks sweet.
Okay. All right. Any more dogs to share? Okay, I'll do what I wish I'd learned. Wait, I gotta make myself that spotlight. Okay, and then I'm gonna take Joel away. So I wrote it down that what I wish I'd known at 21 is that your thoughts, your intentions are really powerful. So it's really important to be focused on a clear goal and to be focused on the positive and not just kind of drift. And I knew it, but I wish I knew it even more, to really pay attention to your intuition and your higher guidance. And I wish that I'd known that you don't have to be married to have intercourse, because I thought even at 21 that if you love someone, you will marry them, and then you can have sex. So skirted intercourse for that reason.
I would have taken you up on the offer.
Oh, but like Peggy said, we were pretty naive and like
Naive.
like Jeff said, we were pretty immature emotionally, or at least I'll speak for myself. And then I wish I'd known that having a baby really changes your life. Because when I had a baby, I thought I'll keep on teaching and writing and have a baby. And I didn't understand how much one's life is transformed by becoming a parent. And I wish I'd known, this is a small point, but that any business arrangement, even with friends, you put in writing.
Mm.
And I wish I'd known that procrastination doesn't work. And like I was teaching, after I graduated from Berkeley, I taught at Southgate Junior High history. And one day I realized that their homework assignments had filled up a closet. So I had piles and piles and piles of homework that I procrastinated checking off. So I've learned to be more disciplined and not put things off. Like in high school, I only studied what I was interested in. So I didn't do math. And my geometry teacher, I don't remember his name, said, don't ever take math again. I said, okay.
Give to heart.
Give me a C. And that's another thing I'm grateful for, is because I never could have gotten into Berkeley today with the grades that I had that were so uneven. So we were a lucky generation. Okay, so we've covered the
I
water.
just want to say one thing. My dad had the foresight to make me take a typing class in high school. And I think I was the only guy in it. And I hated it. I mean, it just wasn't what I wanted to do. But boy, have I thanked him, because with the advent of computers, which of course we had no clue of back then, I can type, I can still type. So thank you, Dad. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I took typing,
Any,
the teacher was hot.
what?
I took typing because the teacher was a beautiful, well-proportioned woman.
Oh, now we're learning. What was it? What else do we? When I think of high school, I think of how cliquey it was. Like, and people have talked about that. But I think that's the nature of high school. I think if you go to any high school in the country, there will be the jocks eating here, the cheerleaders eating here, the theater people eating there at lunchtime. So I think that's just the nature of high school, is that it's cliquey.
Do they still have clubs in high school? I know that, I mean, that was such a big thing at uni. Do they still have them in high school?
I'm sure they do.
It depends on the high school, right? I mean, our clubs were Y clubs, correct? They were through the Y.
I think it's a shame because I think it just narrowed our group of friends, and I never got to know anybody outside of my club. I love everyone in my club, but
We knew some Parisians and that was about it.
yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, very few.
But our club was a security blanket. It made us feel, that we were secure. We had each other's backs, and
right.
But it's interesting that who appeared for this get together was the Mamsells.
Isn't it?
Yeah, because I organized it, right? So the Mamsells felt loyal. Yeah, I remember this funny thing. A friend of mine and I went to a Y dance. I will not say her name. And we went to Kathy's house to get dressed for the dance. And at that point, we weren't very busty. And so we put toilet paper in our bras, and we would like go poke, 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 and have Kathy say, okay, that's too much toilet paper, put in more. Do you remember that, Kathy?
I don't, but I've always been a designer.
That's really interior decorating.
That's funny. Any other high school crushes or secrets to reveal at this point?
I actually got a crush on you post high school. I was impressed that you were writing books, and I don't know. I just I thought if there had been an opportunity for us to get to know each other better, I would have enjoyed that.
I agree with that. Yeah, I totally agree. Thanks.
Does anybody know what happened to Judy Udcuff?
Yes, we check in with each other about once or twice a year. She lives in Klamath Falls, Oregon, and
say hi for me when you.
I sure will. Yeah.
I had a crush on her.
So did I.
She was my kindergarten girl. I mean, I had a crush on her back in kindergarten and the first grade, and we actually were good friends throughout elementary school. And in any case, she is one of two people. The other is Dan Hayton, with whom I'm still in touch with since those early days.
And what about Leonard Hogwin?
I know who Leonard was, and I would have liked to have known him better, but
yeah,
he was not one of my companions.
Danny Hayton was, it was interesting because people didn't think of him as being an intellectual, but he ended up teaching sociology at San Jose State, right?
Yeah, and Berkeley as well. He got a degree in criminology, and no, it wasn't San Jose State. It was Sonoma State that he taught at, and he was there for quite a number of years. And I actually helped him write his bachelor's thesis because he was not all that literate at the time, and I don't know. I proofread a lot of what he wrote, and I think he got by a lot by getting people to help him that way. But he's an incredibly bright person, and very tuned into the world in other ways, and I still really deeply appreciate my friendship with him.
But back to crushes.
Back to crushes.
My crush was Keith Naffig, and so I'm gay. But I didn't admit it at the time. In fact, I didn't come out until 3 years ago. That's a long staying in the closet.
Did you have significant others that you just didn't talk about?
Well, how do you mean?
I mean, did you have relationships, but they were just kind of quiet behind the scenes relationships?
No, but I did fall in love with someone up here in Oregon, but it was one way. I mean, I was gay and he wasn't. And so that's it.
Well, there's time, and now you're out, so it's more likely that you'll meet somebody.
Well, there isn't much time because I have a terminal cancer and I probably don't have more than a year to live. So I'm just kind of making the most of it right now.
And you still got a year.
Yeah, maybe. We'll
And
see.
there's remissions. The Institute of Noetic Sciences did a big study of spontaneous remissions of stage 4 cancers, and the people lived a long time. So just because a doctor says it doesn't mean it's true.
Well, yeah, I'm actually several months past the initial estimate, so I'm hoping to hold on. I'm in pretty good physical shape. I used to motocross, race. I used to race dirt bikes, and I did that for about 10 years. So my body's in actually pretty good shape. So I think that's one of the reasons I'm hanging on.
Good.
You look great.
You do.
Thank you.
Mhm. Well, we'll set the intention that that you can defy the diagnosis, because it does happen all the time.
All right.
So anything else that we would say to our grandchildren or friends' grandchildren that we haven't?
Yeah, be nice to old people because you'll be one.
You don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
And
So-
Golden Pond, I think Henry Fonda said it best. Getting old is not for the faint of heart.
Right.
And man, those are true words were never spoken.
But we're wiser.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we definitely should do this again. Thank you for turning out, and we'll have to figure out how we get people.
Thank you for doing the heavy lifting, Gail. It's
It
great.
wasn't heavy lifting, it was fun.
Come in and say hi.
Great.
Okay.
Really grateful.
Okay.
Talk to you
Take
guys
care.
later.
Good to see everybody.
Bye-bye.
See you, Kathy.
See you next time.
Good to see you.